Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. In the last part, we beat Turtle Rock and rescued Zelda and the rest of the maidens practically now. And now we're in the final dungeon of the game, Ganon's Tower. First off, I'm ignoring that key because it's not necessary. In fact, there are a lot of unnecessary rooms in this dungeon in particular. But there's two paths in the first room. I think one in the top left and one in the top right. The top left is the easier path, hence why we're taking it. Also, the final dungeon, no unique music. Really? Mind you, I understand this was middle of the life cycle Super Nintendo game, so I can't expect everything, but come on, even Final Fantasy IV had that. That was 1991. Heck, even in Zelda 1, the final dungeon had a unique music. And Zelda 2. Come on, guys. Either way, what you just saw there was me using the Candace Mario for its sub-ability, and here's me using it again. This is really the only time you're required to use it, though. Not gonna lie, this looks cool to me. I don't know why, but this just looks really cool to me. Now, the thing is with this dungeon is that it's probably one of the more puzzle-heavy areas in terms of what it's a lot more cryptic with what you have to do. Like in this room, it's not immediately obvious that you have to push this one block right there. I suppose it would be suspicious since it's the only lone block in the entire room. And hookshot over to here. Hey! And now we got a teleporter maze. These are always fun. Pretty much just go to the right, the lower left. Lower left again. Then the only other one you can really access in this part. And don't fall down the hole. Don't go down the hole. I have not referenced Tiny 2 Adventures in so long. Wow. And in this next room, I think it's pretty obvious which one you choose. And jump the teleporter maze. That was simple. And here's the map, by the way. 8 floors again. This time we're climbing up, and the boss is on the 7th floor, if I recall. Yeah, it should be. Okay, this room's annoying. Like the place where we got hard piece number 23, where we had to use ether to show hidden pathway, you have to do that here as well. However, this one actually has a torch that you can use to show the pathway. And there's a shortcut that I try to make, but I never actually use. Only lift the top pot here. What we have to do is light that torch up there. And I tried to make it so easy, but nope, there is a pit there. They thought ahead with that. And I hate that they did that. But, oh well. Well, the reason I left that pot there is because once you light the torch, the path shows up, yes, but it's for temporary, a limited time. That pot is there so you can hookshot over to it, and I just never thought to use, and I made it with the intention of using it, but I just never did. So now I'm fairly cautious with where I have to go. And here we are. God, Ganon has statues of himself everywhere. Talk about self-absorbed. Actually, Ganon is kind of narcissistic, isn't he? Never really thought about that. Well, then again, is there a difference between narcissistic and self-centered? Because that would be arguable, because he wants to rule everything, yes, but it never made sure why. The closest we ever got to that was his character development, which there was quite a bit of, actually, in Wind Waker, especially the right before the final battle. I love that final battle to death by the... Whoa, these guys again! Secondary gimmick with Ganon's Tower, other than just being large, is that you refight all 3 of the first bosses. Only they're a lot easier with the current equipment. By the way, if it's not obvious, use those arrows against these guys. First off, it killed them in 3 shots back then, and now it kills them in 1 with the silver arrows. Also, I'm very late mentioning this, but the boss death sound, I've always loved that sound effect for some reason. I don't know why. It's so silly, but I love it. To the point where, it used to be my cell phone notification tone. And here we got a big key. I think some bombs and arrows. Yep. This is actually, we're going to use arrows a lot for the last part of the game because of those guys and something else we're going to be encountering later on. God, I just noticed even these things that were skulls in other dungeons are in his face. Wow, Ganon really is narcissistic. Then again, isn't there there's actually a difference between Ganondorf and Ganon, right? If I recall, it's like Ganon's the demon and Ganondorf's the human. I think the old split timeline Zelda theory went into that a while back. I really like that split timeline theory, by the way. I'm glad it was somewhat confirmed, though I really... Well, first off, Dungeon Items, the red mail, it doubles our double defense, so now we take 1/4 the damage. But going into the Zelda timeline thing, I've mentioned it before, but I am very hit or miss with it. I like it for the most part, but why is there a hero's defeated timeline? I mean, it makes sense because that's what happens if you get a game over in Ocarina of Time, but at the same time, that just doesn't sound like good storytelling to me. Like, make one... It's hard to say, really. It really is. Because, honestly, Zelda is one of those things that while I like that there's a timeline, it didn't really ever need one. Like, only series that have, like, downright overly serious storylines like Star Fox or Metroid, things like that need a timeline. Zelda didn't ever need one, neither does Mario. There isn't a Mario timeline, right? I did not miss that? Good. Also, actually, it's really odd. First, I'll push this block to progress, but I just realized the spike graphics here remind me a lot of Superstar Saga. The spikes in that game looked very similar, though they were only ever really in the first area. Whoa, I'm getting stuck inside these blocks. That's not the collision glitch. Anyway, this room's pretty simple. Just murder both Gorias. And here's what I mean by the hitbox being a bit weird on these guys. Look at how many times I missed this guy when it's clearly almost directly hitting him. And... Oh, really? I could have sworn I missed that a couple times. Am I going crazy? I'm very possibly going crazy. Oh, actually, first off, I love what they do with BMOs in this dungeon. It gets hilarious later on. You'll see what I mean in about 7 minutes, maybe? This dungeon is, like all the others, fairly short. It can be done in 15 minutes, as you're about to see here. Technically 16, but you know what I mean. Oh, that is loud. I need to turn down the volume, that's right. I forgot to do that for the... Ow. If you're wondering why there's so many clinks, that's why. Anyway, we got some Igors. Haven't seen these guys since, I think, the Desert Palace. It's a random time to bring back those guys. Either way, there's a locked door on the top right, so it's step on the floor switch underneath that pot. And don't hit the crystal switch. No. Whew, got out of that pretty easily. And by the way, yeah, now we're a fully maxed out Link. I love the red on this Link. The red and blue, the red shirt and the bluish hat mixes well with his pink hair, in my opinion. Actually, if I recall, technically Link wasn't blonde until, I think, Link's Awakening or Ocarina, right? Because he was definitely brunette in Zelda 1 and 2. He's pink here. It may have been Link's Awakening that introduced his yellow hair. If it wasn't that, it was definitely Ocarina of Time. Why am I standing still so much? Anyway, this is funny. BMOs on conveyor belts. No, I'd get really motion sick by that, not gonna lie, if I was that BMOs constantly being spun around in circles while spinning around in circles. And now they're just getting ridiculous. Oh, and obviously, if it's not obvious, the level 4 sword is pretty powerful. Because I think these guys took 2 or 3 sword slashes with their Master Sword, but now they go down to 1. Also, I think they... this might be my ears deceiving me, but have they changed the sword swipe sound effect for every single sword? I never noticed that if they do. Huh. Oh, this room's overtly pointless. Oh, hey, the land molas. Same strategies apply that I used back then. Sword slashes, bombs, or freaking ice rod. Though the sword takes him out the fastest with one spin attack and a slash. I'm kind of sad they don't play like the boss music for these boss fights, but at this point, it's kind of just a thing to show you how powerful you've become. Because there's not often a boss rush in Zelda games. Oh, the only ones I can recall off the top of my head having one was, just this, to some extent, and Wind Waker. I don't recall Twilight Princess having one. I don't recall Oh, Skyward Sword had one to get the Hylian shield. That's right. But that's an optional thing. This one and the one from Wind Waker are required. And my god, the Skyward Sword one's a pain in the ass on hero mode. Ugh. Also, it's odd. The Wizrobes, these are still Wizrobes, but they look entirely different in this dungeon. I don't know why. Unless they used that sprite somewhere else, I just never entered the door. That's probably it. Anyway, in this room, the floor does collapse, so rush through it. And here we have another fire rod puzzle room. Just use your fire rod. It goes down. It goes pretty easily. That was grammar, Kyle. Shut up. Shut up, Kyle. They're not supposed to know about that, Kyle. Honestly, though, I'm surprised they're still throwing fire bars at us like this. Actually, if I recall correctly, back in Zelda 1, fire bars were in that game. I recall that for a fact, I think. Weren't they designed to be a reference to Mario Brothers? Okay, this room's a bit of a dick. First off, there's lasers everywhere, which we can thankfully block, but it still hurts. You saw that, right? That was weird. Huh. Alright, but this way this room works is that you have to light all 4 torches. Pretty simple, actually. But here's the problem. If you fall down that floor, you have to do it all over again. And here you get another refill of bombs, and I think arrows, because I think this is the last restock station in this entire dungeon. Which we're almost... Actually, no, it's just bombs. Huh. We're almost done with the dungeon, actually. Oh, I know why they gave that to us, because of this room. This is a room that almost every single Zelda game after this would have to some extent. You have to throw a bomb into the conveyor belt and time it right so that it hits the crack in the wall. Of course, there are times where it just won't stay on the conveyor belt for some reason. There we go. Obviously, blade traps hurt, so try not to get hit by them. This room, the key's in the treasure chest, obviously, so get that. Actually, no, there's no key. Is there a key in there? Yeah, there is. I already had one key, huh. I forget if that key's extra or not. I don't think it is. It might be. You'd think I'd recall, even though this was recorded so recently, but nope. I'm still going to have to run through each of the episodes one more time just to be sure I got everything right. And in here we got the final rematch against Mulder. Honestly, though, this fight's a lot easier, even though I actually fall down during this fight. God, that's obnoxious. He shouldn't have that much knockback, and honestly, I find him harder on the Game Boy Advance version because of the smaller screen. Or screen ratio, at least. Thankfully, though, I take him down the second try, so yay. Actually, to some extent, this is a point of no return in the dungeon if you don't use the magic mirror, because you can't get back up to those elevations. Huh. Either way, with the level 4 sword, he's obviously much easier than he was with our uncle's sword. What do we even do with that thing, by the way? He gave it to us when he died. They were kind of ambiguous with that, honestly. And we just kind of threw it away when we got the Master Sword. Did I say sword? Yes, I did. I never thought I'd reference that of all things. Okay, this room's a pain in the ass, because of the conveyor belt and the Helmasaurs and the freaking bounce pads. Although, here's an interesting fact. The spikes also hurt enemies. You'll see momentarily coming up, actually. Yeah, he got killed by the spikes there, see? I'm not sure if they have to be pushed into it by something, or if it's at any point in time if they run into spikes, they're getting hurt. Oh, and also, here's something I completely forgot to show off otherwise. If you use Ether, some enemies won't be killed by it, but they'll actually be frozen. I forget if there's what determines it. In fact, they might all just freeze, and I just never bothered to use it much on them, but oh well. And here we are on the final highway on the 7th floor. Alright, let's get down to business. You again. It's great that you could come all the way here, Link. I'm very happy to see you again, but you'd better believe that we will not have a third meeting. Prepare to meet your doom. Ganon this time decides to throw 2 shadows at us. In fact, you can tell which one's the real one by how dark the shadow is. In fact, it's pretty obvious, huh? However, this fight's actually easier than the first one against him, because I think the shadows are guaranteed to throw the ones that damage you, to damage Ganon at you. So you can get 2 or 3 shots in if you can do it right. It's very rare to do, but it's possible. In fact, there are times when Ganon will actually stand where a shadow is standing. Yeah, see, look, I got 2 in there. it's kind of a disappointingly easy boss. Also, it's odd. He's green here, but in his concept art, Gagonim is actually red-cloaked. Ugh. Needless to say, I'm kind of panicking at this point because I'm low on life, and I have no idea how much HP he has, but no need to worry. Oh, wow, he actually died. What the pig? Okay, that happened. Take me away, bird. And we're back at the Pyramid of Power? Actually, I only now realized you can actually see Ganon's tower in the background. That's cool. Oh, that was the thing. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching. And in part 15, we're ending off the game. See you guys then.